Nintendo is following up their cinematic dominance with 2023's Super Mario Bros. Movie by taking arguably their second most prominent IP. We could have a discussion about where it is. For me, personally, I've never been that big of a Legend of Zelda person, okay? I think that it's like I beat the original game, I beat Link to the Past, and I've tried time and time again. This might be sacrilegious, but frankly, I don't really care. Like, Ocarina of Time never really stuck with me. Tried to get into Skyward Sword. I've given Legend of Zelda a chance. Maybe, I don't know, maybe Breath of the Wild will hit different for me. I got that for the Switch, and we'll see what happens. But I know it's popular. It was never something that resonated with me and my friends growing up. So I don't know, man, maybe it's different courses for different horses, but I can't deny how successful the IP is. So yeah, it makes sense that they'd want to make a movie, especially if they're going to be adapting several of their popular franchises. For me, kind of like to see a Metroid game first, or, hey man, in the vein of what a lot of other popular companies are doing too, okay? Racing adaptations, if you want to do an F-Zero movie, that would be cool as hell, but that would be super niche as well. But yeah, what ends up making the most sense is a Legend of Zelda movie, okay? And we talked about this, when was it? Like, Miyamoto hopped on the, Nintendo Twitter account back in, November 8th of 2023. What? Okay, so yeah, Shigeru Miyamoto, okay, representative director and fellow Nintendo, and yes, I'm sorry, the film will be produced by Shigeru Miyamoto, representative director and fellow of Nintendo, and Arad, chairman of Arad Productions, who has managed many mega hit films. Yeah, exactly. All of the stuff over at Sony, which has done so well throughout the years. Oh, Jesus Christ, like a studio that whenever you see their name pop up on a film, you know that you're going to be in for just high levels of quality, like the Spider-Man-less Spider-Verse or Ghostbusters 2016. God damn it, man. The film will be produced by Nintendo and Arad Productions and directed by Wes Ball. Now, see, that was a name that was already thrown out there early in development when Miyamoto just hopped on Twitter and was like just in the middle of a thread going, "Hi, it's Miyamoto. I've been working for years on a live action Legend of Zelda movie." And it's like, wait, what? Okay, first of all, you're working on a Legend of Zelda movie. Second of all, it's live action. I mean, you just had $1 billion hit in the form of the Super Mario Brothers movie, and it was appropriately, even as safe as the film was, done by Illumination, that just made over $1 billion, for Christ's sakes, okay? And Legend of Zelda, as Link has been depicted several different times over with a bunch of different art styles. Why don't you lean into the animated side of things? Okay, you already have proof of concept that animated films make a lot of money. Okay, what was the highest grossing film of last year? Inside Out 2. So it's like, yeah, the groundwork has already been laid. But no, you're working with Sony. I'd imagine that they ended up convincing you that, no, live action, that right there, that is going to be the needle mover on this, okay? It's not like you have such a well-known franchise like The Legend of Zelda, okay? It's not like that wouldn't put butts in seats. No, we got to do it live action. A theatrical distribution of the film will be done worldwide by Sony Pictures Entertainment. Jesus. By producing visual content of the Nintendo IP itself, Nintendo is creating new opportunities to have people from around the world to access the world of entertainment, which Nintendo has built through different means apart from its dedicated game consoles. Yeah, blah, 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 all of that crap. But at this point in time, man, if you need to be introduced to Legend of Zelda through this movie, okay, what is this? Like nearly 40 plus years on from the inception of the IP. I don't know, man. I don't know how much new ground you're going to end up breaking with this. But yeah, the poster, after years, right? Like, okay, after years of speculation and constantly coming back to this, I remember doing the video on it going, like, wait, okay, that's weird, okay? And it's Sony. It's like, God, man, this is... Like, it's probably not going to be good if we're going to keep it a buck. But yeah, then a couple of days ago, at the tail end of March, we got the confirmation that, yep, we got a release date for this. The Legend of Zelda movie will release on March 26th, 2027 in theaters. Holy Christ, man. I'm going to be old as hell by the time that runs around. It's going to be a few weeks after my 37th birthday. Ooh, that hit different. But also, okay, we have a speculation that this will be the start of a trilogy. Oh shit. Okay. Okay. So on one hand, okay, like you can take this information for what you will. On one hand, yeah, it's Sony, it's Arad. They don't exactly have a track record of success. But then on the other, it's like, okay, so you've been working on this for a while. You're planning out a trilogy. it could be something that's there, but honestly, like, I don't know, man. This is probably not going to be good. And then you start to try to rope in a couple of other things, and it's like, oh, we see what you're doing. Oh, this is really going to suck, huh? A movie industry insider claimed that the Legend of Zelda films will be the first of a planned trilogy, with 3 movies planned out over 6 years, starting in 2027. Okay. If you already have the plans for everything, and if you want to keep costs, which both Sony and Nintendo are known, especially when it comes to Sony's filmic endeavors, they like to keep their budgets relatively tight. Why wouldn't you go ahead and just make these films back to back to back? And I think that would also ring true with the place that you're trying to film these. The Legend of Zelda movie will begin shooting in November of 2025 in New Zealand. Oh, okay, cool. Where other high-profile films, such as, something you might have heard of before, The Lord of the Rings. Hey, Lord of the Rings was filmed in New Zealand. God, I can't wait for Link to be introduced and for him to walk out of a hobbit hole. God, this is going to be so great, isn't it? Jesus Christ. On March 28th, news of the Legend of Zelda movie was posted on the Nintendo Today app, which had just been released following the March 27th Nintendo Direct broadcast. Yeah, Nintendo's hilarious. It's like, hey guys, we heard about these cool things, I don't know, they're little black screens that fit in your pocket and give you access to a world of just complete and total unfettered information. It's so cool. And you can get these little data packages, okay, that just individual companies, stop me if you've heard this before, but this is so cool that they could directly send you information. Is so wild, man. So yeah, they just got on the whole smartphone bandwagon and decided to make an app for themselves. This would be revolutionary if this was 2006 and we were talking about a new app for your iPod Touch. What are we doing? Nintendo today confirmed that The Legend of Zelda would be released worldwide on March 26th, 2027, meaning fans must wait 2 years to see Nintendo and Sony Pictures' upcoming live-action film. Details about the cast and the main plot of the Zelda movie remain unknown, which, speculation as to who is going to play live-action Link. Oh boy, that's going to be highly contentious. That's going to be arguably, I don't even think that that's going to be arguable in regards to video game movies when it comes to live action casting. Like Chris Pratt as the voice of Mario, that was awfully contentious. And when Nintendo did that cast reveal for the Mario movie, it's like, oh god, yeah, a bunch of A-list actors, oh my god, just roll your eyes. But then they ended up doing a pretty decent job, all things considered. Ever Seth Rogen as Donkey Kong, I wish that fucker never worked in Hollywood ever again in my entire life. But hey, different strokes for different folks. But when it comes to live action adaptations, especially to video games, like the guy who played Master Chief, I mean, that's somebody who you should never see their face of, but hey, he needed to have that screen time, and it's not like it's not like Master Cheeks is ever going to be confused with the real John 117. Jimmy Rings is not a patch on the real Master Chief, and you see this over there on the sidebar, The Last of Us, like, oh, okay, it's hilarious, right? Like, oh, okay, Neil Druckmann, as steadfast as he was in making sure that Abby was a big fan of Scott Steiner in the WCW days, shouldn't necessarily need to go ahead and adhere to that sort of physicality, because it's going to be a different take in the second season of the show. God, that's going to suck as well. But whoever's going to play Link, that I would probably put that on par with whoever plays Superman. Okay, like David Cornsweet, that's decent casting, right? Like, I'd still go with Henry Cavill, finally give that guy some material to work with. But even still, right, like he somewhat looks the role. I think that the costume is doing him a grave disservice, but these are going to be the same conversations when it comes to Link, man, because everybody, and especially whatever game you have a certain affinity with, it's like, okay, how's he going to look? Is he going to have blonde hair like he has in a lot of the adaptations, or is he going to have the pink hair like he has in A Link to the Past? Is he going to be a silent protagonist like he is generally depicted in the games, or are they going to have to make him talk? And especially if this is going to be a trilogy, it would show remarkable storytelling ability if he was going to be a silent protagonist. But this is Sony when it comes to their adaptations. You just take a look at the Spider-Man-less Spider-Universe, and it's like, how honest and how faithful were they to the source material? It's like, I don't know, man. Just because Miyamoto's there, this is also the same guy who thought that Wii Music was a good idea. We'll see, man. Hopefully there's good casting, but also hopefully there's a good script. Following the news of the Zelda movie's 2027 release date, an insider claimed that there might be more than one movie in the works. As reported by VGC, movie industry insider Daniel Richmond claimed in his paid Patreon post that The Legend of Zelda would be the first in a potential trilogy. Richmond said the potential Zelda film trilogy would have a 6-year plan in which all significant acting roles would be signed on for the entire span. Okay, well, see what's happening. Principal photography will take place in New Zealand from November 2025 to April 2026. Holy crap. That's a lot. That's a lot of time. But hey, man, you take a look at that, and it's like, it at least looks like they have a plan in place. Okay, gotta give them credit for that. While other details about the Legend of Zelda project remain elusive at the time of writing, the film will be produced by Nintendo executive Shigeru Miyamoto, alongside Hollywood producer Arad. Miyamoto was also credited as a producer for the Super Mario Brothers movie, yes, and Wes Ball, yeah, see, he's still attached to this, Maze Runner director, Maze Runner movies, Jesus Christ, will fulfill the same role for the upcoming Nintendo and Sony Pictures film. Yeah, what really sticks in my craw, I know, big shock, right, if you've been following me for a while, the fact that they're just going to go down and think that, oh yeah, hey, we're going to film in New Zealand, we're going to film a trilogy in New Zealand, and I understand, right, like, Hyrule and Middle-earth have a lot in common. Okay, and I'd imagine if you dig deep on the inspirations from Miyamoto when he was creating, you know, a much more expanded version of Hyrule, because what was the impetus for the game? It's like, okay, cool, he wanted to go ahead and depict the stories and the time that he spent in his childhood going through the forests out back of his house, you know, just play fighting monsters, and it's like, okay, I can understand how you come up with, you know, like bats and caves, but, you know, the Octoroks and ghosts that you have to shout in a microphone in order to scare away. It was like, I don't know how that really translates, but this is going to be, I don't know, man, this is going to be one of the most picked apart movie trilogies. If that ends up being the case, we're likely to ever see. Okay, there's going to be several rounds of speculation as to what game are you going to adapt, or at least try to draw inspiration from. Who's going to play Link? What's Link going to look like? What's Zelda going to look like? Who's Zelda going to be based off of the games? Which one are you going to pull from there? And then also, it's like, what are you going to do with Ganon? And how else are you going to structure this story? It's definitely a franchise that is ripe with material to adapt. It's just in the hands of the people like Arad, who brought you Kraven the Hunter, Venom, oh my god, Borderlands, bruh. Oh, the Spider-Verse movies. Okay, Uncharted. Yeah, there you go. That's about a 1-to-1 comparison to show you what Sony does with their game adaptations. Okay, the Uncharted movie. Remember that happened? Yeah, exactly. Ghost in the Shell. Holy shit, he's done so many adaptations that are all ass, by the way. Holy Christ. The amazing Spider-Man movies. What a hack. Absolute hack. Then you have Wes Ball, who has directed, the really bad, most recent Planet of the Apes movies. Oh my god. Yeah, Maze Runner, those shitty movies that nobody remembers at all. Ruin and a work in progress. But hey man, if you're going to be lifting the filming location of Lord of the Rings, I mean, Peter Jackson didn't really have that much under his belt when he did the trilogy, so I guess lightning could strike twice in spite of everything that's going on. Oh man, I'm just yeah, I'm a little upset on behalf of Legend of Zelda fans, and I'm definitely going to be watching this moving forward, because if this thing does well, that's going to mean that more Nintendo IPs get adapted. And then also, because Hollywood is practically creatively bankrupt, that's going to mean more video game adaptations are out there. So who knows, man, maybe this will embolden Square Enix to give Final Fantasy another try in the theaters. Oh, Christ almighty. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.